today we're going to do a little routine that's very helpful for shoulder pain, particularly a tendinitis or impingement syndrome. So for those of you that don't know what impingement syndrome is, often it affects our dominant side, because when we use it more often, and the shoulder tends to end up rolling forward and get locked in this position for years and years and years, and then over time that causes irritation on the rotator cuff tendons that sandwich the shoulder blade and attach onto the side of the shoulder just here. Symptoms you might experience is lifting to reach for something. It could be very painful and sharp and achy in the top of the shoulder. Lifting your arm out to the side, classically you'll get pain between 90 and 120 degrees, and then it will ease at the top, and then as you bring it down, it will be painful again, and you'll see someone hitch as they're trying to bring their arm down. Difficult to sleep on that side as well. You get an intense burning pain, deep kind of toothache pain in the shoulder, and it can often keep people awake at night, so it can be very uncomfortable. And the reason it happens is because as the shoulder is rolled forward, the space between the collarbone and your shoulder is at its smallest here, and the tendons pass under there. And when you're between 90 and 120 degrees, the collarbone and the shoulder blade are both rolling, and that space is really small. So you start to get a bit of inflammation around the tendon, and then the more inflammation you get around the tendon, the less space there is, and then the worse the problem becomes. So what we need to do is create some space in that gap where the tendon passes, so that it's not constantly being irritated and getting inflamed. So we need to stretch out the chest and also start to improve the stability around the scapular or shoulder blade stabilizers. So here, so we want to work on drawing the shoulder back and down. So the first exercise I'm going to show you is a really simple one to activate these muscles between the shoulder blades. So you understand, feet hip distance apart. Again, feet, if they naturally turn out, have them turned out slightly, wherever is comfortable for your foot positioning. Little bend in your knees. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times just to get the idea of rolling the shoulders are going back and down. And then bring your elbows into your side. From here, what you're going to do, take a deep breath in through your nose. And on the out breath, you're going to push your elbows into your side very gently, and then draw your elbows back and down. So I'm drawing my elbows down this way. As I'm doing that, I'm thinking about my shoulder blades coming together. So I'm drawing the shoulder blades down this way. Imagine you're trying to hold a pen between your shoulder blades. So another way that you can get that activation is drawing the elbows back and down, and then rotating the forearms out without taking the elbows from your side, and rotating the thumbs down towards the ground. Hold that for your out breath, and then in, let it relax as you blow out, drawing back and down, and breathing in. As I breathe out, I'm drawing back and down. So you're going to do a set of 15. So start with 10 repetitions, and then over a few weeks build that up to 15 repetitions. You could add one repetition a day, and try and do this exercise between 1 and 3 times a day. Start with once a day for a week, build it up to twice a day on the second week, and then 3 times a day on the third week. So you don't want to do too much too soon. And that applies with all the exercises that we're doing. Start with once a day, build it up to 3 times a day over a 3-week period. Start with 10 reps, and then each day add a rep over the course of the first week. So the next exercise we're going to do, which I can show you, is another one to activate between the shoulder blades. So come and take a gentle squat against a wall. You don't have to come into a deep squat, but just a gentle squat. And then what you're going to do is bring your arms up, so you're not arching in your low back, but you're not flattening your back against the wall either. Just your back in its natural, normal position. Elbows below the height of the shoulders, wrists and elbows flat on the wall. And don't have your head forward like this. Try and just bring the back of your head to the wall as well. Take a little breath in, and on the in breath, I'm going to slowly bring my elbows and my wrists up to where I'm comfortable. So I could bring it up higher than the shoulders if that felt okay, but often with impingement it doesn't, so you're going to bring it just to below the height of the shoulder. And then on the out breath, I'm going to draw my shoulders back and down, keeping the wrists and so the hands and the elbows on the wall, and you should get a little squeeze between the shoulder blades. Bringing it up on the in breath, and on the out breath, drawing those down. And again, you're going to repeat this to start with 10 repetitions once a day, build it up to 15 once a day, and then build it up to 2 sets and then 3 sets. Okay, so we've got those scapular stabilizers nicely activated. What we want to do now is open and stretch the chest. So clasp your hands behind you, and little bend in your knees again, and you can have the palms flat together if that's comfortable. If you can't get those together, that's fine. Just have the hands loosely gripped together. Roll your shoulders back and down, take a breath in. On the out breath, draw your hands down to the floor, and then just lift your hands away from your bottom slightly whilst drawing them down to the floor. And with this stretch, you're getting a real good opening in the chest. You're going to hold that there for between 5 and 10 breaths, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you don't like that as a stretch, there are other alternatives and deeper stretches you can get for your chest. A really good one to do is use a door frame. I'm going to open the door. What you're going to do is place your elbow and hand, forearm, against the outside of the door frame, and I'm going to place them so that they are lined up on the door frame just below the height of my shoulder. And with impingement syndrome, again, you don't want to bring that elbow above the height of your shoulder. So I'm going to pop that there, and then we're going to lunge the same leg forwards, and I get a great stretch just here. Again, hold it for a good 5 to 10 breaths. Every time you breathe out, you can increase the stretch slightly. If you want to feel it a bit more, look over the opposite shoulder. And of course, repeat it on the other side as well. There is one other way that you can stretch out your chest really nicely, and this is personally my favourite. It's the lazy man's way. So if you have a foam roller, you want a 3-foot long foam roller, and that's not rock hard, and you don't want a knobbly one. So it's got to have a little bit of squish. The knobbly ones are really for fascial release, and they're a bit of a killer. What we want is to be able to relax on this. So you're going to pop the foam roller on the floor, and then you're going to lie along the length of the foam roller with your spine. Here. Now, if you have quite a big curve in your upper back, you might want to pop a pillow under your head. And from here, what we're going to do is bring your arms out to this position, and I'm getting a really great stretch across my chest here. And you just lie here for, 5 breaths, 10 breaths, 20 if you like. It feels really comfy. And just over time, you'll notice that your elbows and your wrists get closer to the floor. They may never touch the floor, that is fine. Just letting them relax in that position for as long as you're comfortable. And you can see now that my elbows and wrists are now on the floor. After you've done that, you can bring your arms up so your palms are facing each other. And they're about shoulder width apart. Don't let your shoulders shrug up, you want to have them nice and open. And we're going to do another scapular activation exercise. So what you're going to do is on an in breath, you're going to imagine there's a piece of string in your middle finger and your fingers are being pulled up to the ceiling. All the movement is coming from your shoulder blades. You might find as you go up, your neck lifts and your chin lifts slightly, that's fine. And then on the out breath, you're going to draw just the shoulder blades down, like they're squeezing the foam roller between them. Breathing in, come up. As you draw down, squeeze the foam roller between you. You don't want to arch in your back. All the movement is just coming from your shoulder blades. Again, start with 1 set of 10 and build it up to 15. And then build it up to 3 sets a day. once you've done that, to get off your foam roller, be very careful, gently roll to the side, and just take stock of how your back and your spine feel after lying on the foam roller. Your spine will really appreciate it. It feels great. Roll to the side and gently lift yourself up. If you have impingement syndrome, I would suggest rolling onto the side that isn't irritated. So roll to the left side if it's your right shoulder, and then slowly get yourself up. If you want to get a foam roller, they're quite easy to come by. Amazon or Physio Supplies Company or something like that online. You should be able to order one and get it pretty soon. They're quite inexpensive. I think I picked that one up for about £15. So yeah, just have a look online, and you want to make sure it's a 3 foot 1 metre length foam roller. So another exercise you can do, we want to get a bit of space in the shoulder joint. So what you're going to do is get a can of beans or something that's got a little bit of weight to it. I've got a full bottle of shampoo here. It's quite a nice size for my hand to grip. And what you're going to do is either on the back of a chair, or I'm going to use the side of my chest of drawers. I'm going to rest my opposite hand on that, and then I'm going to come forward with my back straight, so I don't want to be arching or tucking under or twisting, keeping my back nice and straight. So to think about that, what you're thinking of, your sit bones are going straight back behind you. You're going to lean forward, and you're just going to hold the weight in your hand, and this puts a little bit of space and traction in the glenohumeral joint or your shoulder joint here. So whilst you're standing here, you're going to start with some little slow circles, and you're going to slowly increase that circle size. And you do it in one direction, and then you can do it in the other direction. Anywhere between 30 and 60 seconds on each side, and just increasing that circle size one way and the other. You are not really moving your arm, you're kind of letting momentum do its thing. So just relax into it. And then repeat on the opposite side. What you can then do is again roll your shoulders back, and then again let momentum do its thing. Get the weight into the balls of your feet just slightly, and a little bend in your knees, and then just gently let your arms start to swing. And you know, as you're swinging to the left, your right heel might lift slightly. That's because you don't want to make sure that you're not putting any tension in your low back. But this gets your upper back and your shoulders moving nicely. You can do this while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Great time to do it. And again, I'm not moving my arms, I'm letting my arms just flop from side to side. It's all about creating movement gently in those joints without any pressure, so you're letting the muscles go and letting everything relax as much as possible. And you know, honestly, this just feels lovely. Once you've done side to side, you can do backwards or forwards, so I tend to do opposite arm. So just bringing those forward like this. Okay, and this is quite nice. It gets your arms nicely warmed up. Go back to side before we do another strengthening exercise for your rotator cuff muscles. So you've got 4 rotator cuff muscles, and they sandwich around your shoulder blade. So what we want to do is also, now we've opened the chest and strengthened the scapular stabilizers, is to start to get those muscles working how they should. So we're going to do some rotation exercises on the arm. Grab a pair of tights or something stretchy. If you've got a TheraBand, that's perfect, and you're going to tie it onto your door handle. If you're feeling quite a lot of pain or you're quite weak, I would just use one leg of the tights, because then that's going to be easier. If you want a bit more resistance, tie it tighter, shorter, and just use the 2 legs. So we're going to start with me working on the right arm on internal rotation. So what I'm going to do is, standing here, elbow into my side, I'm just going to be moving my forearm. Again, you're going to start with 1 set of 10, build it up to 15 reps, and then over 3 weeks, build it up to 3 sets a day. So breathe in. On the out breath, just going to rotate my arm inwards. On the in breath, I'm going to bring it back, and on the out breath, again this way. Whilst I'm facing in this direction, once I've done my set of 10, I can then work on external rotation on the opposite arm. It's going to come a little bit closer to the door. Again, wrist and elbow all in line. And then from here, breath in. As I breathe out, we're going to rotate outwards. Keeping the elbow nicely into your side. And you're not lifting the shoulder, keeping it down. You can use the other hand as a guide to make sure that you're not cheating. The other direction. Again, start with one set of 10, build it up to 15. Once you've done your set one way, turn around and do internal rotation on one side and then the external rotation on the other side. I hope that those have been helpful. Any questions, drop us an email, info@peacehavenchiropractic.co.uk, or give us a call, leave us a voicemail, and we will pick it up as soon as we're next in clinic. Hopefully this lockdown will be lifted soon and clinic will be back and open, maybe with a few changes to maintain a bit more social distancing, but in time we will be back and we will let you all know as soon as that happens. Take care guys, stay safe, and we will see you soon. Bye now.